now. Okay, and I think it's already starting. Okay. Sige. So, let me share. I believe I have uploaded naman my um, material for this afternoon's discussion on the law on partnership. So again, if you are able, please turn on your camera so I could see someone here while discussing. Okay, so let's begin. So this is the law on partnership. So if you notice, but you have one entire SEM. I think you have a 3-unit subject for this one, right? So since considering that this is a 3-unit subject and then you were able to discuss this for an entire semester, which is actually equivalent to around 54 hours no, of discussion. And then we will compress everything into 3 or 4 hours lang. So we will just focus on the most important concepts related to the law on partnership. So you may also open your uh, copies of the handouts I sent. So you can place some notes beside them if you want to. Okay, so let's define first what is a contract of partnership. Hindi siya ma-highlight. My highlight function is not operating. Okay, anyway, so this is based on Article 1767 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. So the definition of partnership is a technical definition. I say technical definition because dili ta pwede magbuot-buot kung unsay partnership. Okay, it is specified by the law itself, specifically Article 1767 of the Civil Code. So by the contract of partnership, so actually if you have a civil code copy, you can see this definition as well. Okay. So by the contract of partnership, 2 or more persons bind themselves to contribute to a common fund, and then unsa man ang pwede i-contribute could be money, property, or industry. And what is the purpose of establishing that entity? With the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. So from this definition alone, we can see that a partnership could not be created if you are alone, right? So you need a partner, a partnership good. So at least two. And then from this definition, 2 or more persons. So there is actually um, no maximum amount or maximum number of partners. So at least two, minimum lang of two. And then you need to contribute either money, but if you have no money but you have a property, you can also contribute your property. Or if you have no money, no property as well, you can also contribute your industry. What do we mean by industry? This is your skill, or you work for the partnership, but this work, no, this industry or this skill that you are contributing, this is not in a, what you call this, an employer-employee relationship. Okay, kay lahi man sad to ang work or industry or skill nga imong gi-contribute as an employee. But this time you are not an employee, but you are a partner. And what you are contributing is your skill or industry. So this is, for example, possible. For example, you are a very skillful person. Daghan kitag nahibaw-an, all, and then it's just that you have no cash for the meantime, or you have no property to contribute to the partnership. But your skill is the very skill that the partnership requires. For example, if your partnership is about giving service, or the rendition of service, and then that service requires a specific skill, and you have that specific skill, then you will contribute your skill. Even though you have no money or property, you can still contribute your industry. And then with the intention of dividing the profits. So therefore, um, there is no non-profit partnership, diba? So unlike sa corporation, a corporation could be for profit or not for profit, correct? So you have your stock corporation. If you want to earn profits, or if your main purpose is to earn profits, and you also have your non-stock corporation, if your purpose is not really to earn profits, but rather, for example, you want to engage into religious activities or charitable activities, but anything not for profit, so you can actually do it if you are a corporation. However, for partnerships, since the definition of partnership specifically said that your intention to enter into such partnership is really to earn profits, then we could say that there is no such thing as a non-profit na partnership. Okay? So unlike sa corporation. Two or more persons may also form a partnership for the exercise of a profession. And you should also relate this to your corporation law, right? Because your corporation code of the Philippines says that you cannot create a corporation for the purpose of practicing a profession. Okay. So if the main purpose of you creating a partnership with someone is to exercise your profession, for example, you become CPA someday, and then you have close friends, you want to um, create a, or you want to have a business where all of you as CPAs will provide accounting services or audit services. You cannot form a corporation for that purpose. Why? Because the Corporation Code of the Philippines specifically says that we are prohibited from forming a corporation for the exercise of a profession. So since wala may di man pwede corporation, you have two options then. First, if mag-solo ka, you can do sole proprietorship, no? But the question is, di ba, we also have OPC, one person corporation. Ganahan ka mag-solo, OPC. Pwede OPC as a corporation or pwede po as a sole proprietor. But again, if your purpose is to exercise a profession, you cannot create an OPC as well. Kaya OPC, from the term itself, OPCC is corporation. And then you always go back to the fact that you cannot create a corporation for the purpose of um, the exercise of a profession, whether solo or with other people. Okay, so you cannot create an OPC as well. So your option is first, if ganahan ka mag-solo, so you can be considered a sole proprietor. And then if you have partners, then you can create a partnership. So that partnership, ako na lang mong sultian daan, no? Ato na lang i-preempt daan. So that partnership that is specifically formed for the exercise of a profession is what we call a general professional partnership, GPP. Okay, GPP. And why is it important um, to distinguish or to really put a name on it? A GPP, gini siya, dili ni siya ordinary nga partnership. Because di mo pwede siyang i-relate dito sa tax na to, di ba? Di ba you also have tax man sa, di ba, as part of part 1 nga exam, correct? So i-relate po din mo siya sa tax. GPP is not taxed as an entity, but an ordinary corporation is taxed as, I don't know, not ordinary corporation, an ordinary partnership is taxed in the same way as a corporation. So partnership, ordinary partnership, meaning dili GPP, any other purpose, like for example, ganahan mo mamaligya or whatever. So that's an ordinary partnership. An ordinary partnership is taxed as a corporation. But if your partnership is for the exercise of a profession, then your partnership is called a general professional partnership. So since it is a GPP, it shall not be taxed as a corporation, but rather it will the taxability or the tax is imposed upon the partners in their individual capacity. Correct? So you also have to remember that. So that's the purpose why we need to put a label on it. This partnership is for the exercise of a profession, or if this partnership is for other purpose other than exercise of profession. Okay. So again, based on so we can see now, we can appreciate that the definition of partnership is very rich. No? Daghan kitag makuha diha nga concepts. So the elements based on the definition, you can see here that the elements of a partnership is that there are two or more persons who bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund. and then with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. Okay. So the civil code requires the parties um, to bind themselves to contribute to a common fund. The partnership may therefore exist even before the common fund is created. So, dili necessary nga nakahatag you mean what I mean is the existence of the partnership itself, 'di ba? Partnership is a legal entity. It has a juridical entity separate from its partners, correct? So, for example, if you have two partners and then you create one partnership, so how many persons are there now? There are three persons, right? The first partner, the second partner, and then the partnership itself. The partnership has a separate juridical entity. So the partnership itself, the existence of the partnership itself is not actually dependent on whether you have actually contributed na, but rather you magsugod na siya masugod na og kabuhi sa partnership once you once you bind yourselves with the other partners na sige ha mag-contribute ta og kani to a common fund. Okay, so dili necessary nga nahatag na gyud as long as nakasabot na mo nga mohatag mo, mo contribute mo to a common fund. So from that point in time where you had your meeting of the minds, di ba? You go back to your oblicon. Since a partnership is a contract, correct? So contract, kung sa may element sa contract, COC, no? First is consent. So ang consent, sabutan na meeting of the minds, correct? So once na may meeting of the nagtagbo na inyong hunahuna, nag-agree na mo na yes, o ikaw partner A, mohatag kag kwarta di ay sige sige okay. Ikaw partner B, wa kay kwarta pero naamang kay sorry, naman kay space sa isa ka building nagiuni mo so pwede dito ato ang kuan, pwede dito atong office so mao na imong i-contribute. Nya ako kagwa para man ako ihatag og ang akong skill. So industrial partner ko. So kana pa lang daan na point nga nagkasinabot mo niingon mo okay. Okay, agree mi ana. Kana pa lang daan na point in time kahalag wala pa gyud ang actual paghatag sa kwarta. Ang actual pag-turnover sa sa space, no? O ang actual paghatag nimo sa imong skill. Nabuhi na dayon ang partnership. Okay? So the common fund may not even come from the partners themselves, but may also be borrowed from third persons. The form of the common fund may not even be cash or property. It can be in the form of credit or industry. Okay, so ang pasabot ra ani is kanus buhi si partnership as long as the parties already bind themselves to contribute to a common fund. And then there must be intention to divide profits. So dili pwede nga inyong i-intend nga diha lang na atong kwarta, then there is no distribution of profits. So if there is no intention to distribute or divide profits, then we could say na this partnership DI is not for profit. And if it is not for profit, for Zoom user, okay, if it is not for profit, then it could not be a partnership, right? So, kaya nga no ganito, based the definition sa partnership, a partnership should always be for profit, correct? So, if it is not for profit, um, it cannot be considered as a partnership. Okay. So, if the common fund's work is indispensable, beneficial, and economically useful to the business of the partners, and the profit motive is the primordial reason to establish the partnership, even if there are no actual profits, then there is partnership. Okay, so there is if you go back to the definition of partnership, diba? With the intention to divide profits. So sa hunahuna ninyo, nag-intend mo to divide profits if there are any. It doesn't necessarily mean if there are no actual profits, the existence of the partnership will cease. No? So, dili necessarily nga naagyud profits as long as you intend to divide profits if there are any. Okay? So, what are the characteristics of a partnership? Not sure na hindi siya kung gana. Anyway, characteristics of a partnership. First, it is principal, meaning it does not depend on other contracts. So if wala siya gisaligan nga lain, it can stand on its own. Okay? Kaya ang uban nga contracts, for example, um, di ba naka-learn naman sa buong mga credit transactions, right? Like for example, mortgage. So a mortgage depends on the existence of a loan, right? Because ang mortgage is ano man siya, collateral man siya. So if wala kay loan, wala kay collateral. So mortgage is an accessory contract, while a partnership contract is a principal contract because it can stand on its own. Pwede na mo diretso o enter into a contract of partnership. Diha-diha dayon. And then it is merely preparatory because it is entered as a means to an end because dili man sad nga oy maghimo tag partnership ay okay nanatay partnership manadayon no. So ang inyong pag-form og partnership is merely a start. So you will want to conduct business, correct? So you want to enter into contracts with suppliers, you will enter into contracts with your customers, and also the existence of your partnership is merely preparatory. And then it is commutative. The undertaking of each one is considered equal with others. So, of course, we will learn later on that the rights and obligations of each partner is the same as a general rule, except if you specifically mentioned in your articles of partnership that, for example, in the event of profits, one will get more than the other one, right? But if silent, wala mo nagsabot daan, so the law will assume that your rights and obligations are equal. Okay? And then it is consensual. It is perfected by mere consent. So, mo na akong giingon ganina no, the the meeting of the minds is what perfects a partnership. Doesn't require the actual delivery of the promised contribution. Correct? So, bahalag wala pa nimo nahatag, wa pa man nimo nahatag imong gi-promise nga i-contribute. The mere fact that you and your partners had meeting of the minds, you consented nga, yes, we want to create a partnership. Then the existence of the partnership will start. So therefore, it is consensual, perfected by mere consent. And it is bilateral because it is entered by two or more persons. You cannot create a partnership nga ikaw lang. Okay? And then it is onerous as compared as opposed to gratuitous. No? So kung may kag onerous, there is price or there is a value involved. So here, because we need to contribute naman, di ba? We need to contribute either of the three. So itong pwede mo i-contribute money, property, or industry. So if you are to contribute something, then a contract of partnership is onerous. Dili pwede nga freeloader ra ka, no? Kaya di man siya gratuitous, it is onerous. And it is also nominate. Anong nominate man siya? Because there is a special name mentioned by law nga basta in ani gani inyong sabot ang tawag ana partnership. Okay, because there are contracts that has no name, that have no name. Like for example katong I do that you may do, I do that you may do this, do pasyas, do katong mga duot ninyo, di ba? I do that you may do, I do that you may give, I give that you may do, I give that you may give. Hendo mo sa inyong obligon. So kato nga mga contracts, wala siya special designation sa law as long as nagsabot mo nga mohatag ka in exchange for a service or magpunta pa mo. So but this type of agreement where you enter into a contract with two or more persons and then nag-intend mo to contribute something to a common fund with the intention to divide profit among yourselves, then that one is called partnership. So it has a name in law. So therefore, it is a nominate contract. Katong mga duot des, duot pasyas, walay specific name, ba? So tawag ato nila is in-nominate. In-nominate. But kani si partnership, it is a nominate. Okay, essential attributes of a partnership. It is informal or consensual. Informal in a sense that there is no required formal agreement. Dili necessary nga magpinirmahay jud mo, maghimo jud mo kontrata, as long as you had meeting of the minds. Because again, you go back to the attribute, you go back to the characteristic of a partnership that it is consensual in nature. Therefore, no other thing is required for it to exist. Dili kailangan magpinirmahay, kailangan mag-print mo dirag unsa. As long as you had meeting of the minds, then the partnership is already created. So it is informal in that way. No kay namo gyud uban contracts that dili siya or naay uban contract yes, naay uban contracts nga dili siya ma-perfect. Dili siya ma-perfected if dili ka mag-execute og formal agreement. But in the case of partnership, it is informal in a sense that it will be created once you had consented, once you had meeting of the minds. Okay. And then it has a weak juridical personality. Why? Because a partnership may be dissolved without need of going through a formal dissolution process. Because we can say no nga, partnership is actually very much personal. Very much personal because first, pagpili pa lang nimo daan sa partner niyo. Murag uyab ba, no? Kung di na kaganahan, you are free to you are free to nang makig-break pa. Same with partnership. Isa pag-create pa lang nimo sa partnership, no, ay sige, friend, magsabot-sabot na friend, maghimo ta og partnership friend na. So pagpili pa lang na daan nimo sa partner, 'di ba, there is some personal feelings involved na. Di of course, di man jud ka maging partner og someone nga di mo kaganahan, correct? So if in the future you have disagreements, um, especially for ang inyong padulngan sa firm ba, di na mo magkasinabot. So all you need to do is to just say, okay, mag-break na lang tayo, di ba? Mag-break na lang tayo. And that's it. That's the end of the partnership. Unlike sa corporation, when you studied your corporation law, there is a specific way to dissolve the corporation, right? But the juridical personality of the partnership, kay di ba, sayon raman siya buhion, correct? Sayon raman siya i-create, sayon ra sad siya i-dissolve. Okay? How to create it? By mere consent, by mere meeting of the minds. And then how to dissolve it? By meeting of the minds po, 'di ba nga? Um, we tried everything pero dili na siya mo-work out. So magwag na lang ta. So inaana ra sad, no? Inaana ra sad. In a sense, the juridical personality of a partnership is weak in that aspect. And then it is of mutual agency. Agency gani of course, I know that you already had your sales and agency, di ba nga subject. So agency meaning there is a principal and there are agents acting on behalf of the principal. So here, di ba, we already know that the partnership itself has a separate juridical personality, correct? Apart from its partner. So if you have two partners, you have one partnership. So there are three persons involved: the partnership and the two partners. So the principal is the partnership. But since partnership naman is like invisible man na siya, 'di ba? Wa man kayo makita nga, tada, naitaw nga ako di si partnership, no? So the partnership cannot act its own, correct? Kaya it's just a legal fiction. Or siya hinimo ra siya sa balaod. So who will act for the partnership? It will be the partners. So the partners ang partners, natural persons man sila, correct? So naman sila yung physical being, naman sila yung physical existence. So they can act for the partnership. So all partners are considered agents of the partnership. And whatever any one of them may do alone shall bind the partnership. Okay, so dili dili ka kailangan mananghid sa imo other partner all the time na kada lihok nimo. Pwede in ani, di pwede ra ka dili mananghid. Okay, because all of you are considered agents of the partnership. So whatever you may do in your capacity as an agent, it will bind the partnership, being the principal that you represent, diba? So you are the agent, you are representing your principal, the partnership. So tanan nimong i-enter nga contracts, mo bind na siya sa partnership. So every partner is an agent of the partnership for the purpose of its business, and the act of every partner defines the partnership. Sabot ra mo ani, no? So, delectus personae or selection of persons. One selects his partners on the basis of their personal qualifications and qualities. So, mo siya kung giing ganina nga. In choosing partners, you have the liberty. Kung whatever imong ganahan, bahalag kung unsa imong qualifications, no, like mamili kag uyab why magbuot nimo kung imong qualification kay ganahan ka o putot nga tambo nga ganahan ra magduwag computer all day. Okay, if mo ano imong ganahan then go, 'di ba? So same with partnership. Kung okay ra nimo makig-partner og someone nga nga for example, ulan unya way plano sa kinabuhi, it's up to you. Okay? So you have the liberty. So there is this personal touch, no? There is this personal touch. It is for this reason that there is mutual representation among the partners, so that the act of one is considered the act and responsibility of the others as well. Okay, since ingon si balaod, since ikaw man ang nipili sa imong partner, that means okay ra daay nimo. Kay gipili man nimo siya as partner, that means okay ra daay nimo nga kani pud siya nga person mo act on behalf of the partnership. So whatever this person uh, will do, it will okay rin mo nga, it will bind the partnership because in the first place, you are the one who chose your partner, correct? Okay, and then the partners are burdened with unlimited liability. This is in a case of a general partnership, okay, as compared to a limited partnership. And okay, karon ha, at this point, you should not confuse yourselves with general partnership and general professional partnership. Those two are different. Those two are different. So when you say general partnership, that means that all of the partners are general partners. And what does it mean when all partners are general partners? A general partner is a partner who is liable to the partnership debtors, not only to the extent of his or her equity uh, balance sa partnership, but also extending to his personal assets as well. So there is unlimited liability in that sense. Nga, if naubos na ang property or kwarta sa partnership, ang creditors ni partners, pwede siya mugukod sa imuhang personal jud nga assets, bahalag dili na assets ni partnership. So that is a general partner. But for example, if you are hesitant to do this, uy, what if mabankrupt ang partnership later on? Hadlo ka di ay kay makuha din niya akong personal assets. So, di ko ganahan inana nga liability. Ganahan ko limited ra akong liability. Then you say nga, I want to become a limited partner. So, a limited partner, so once you have a limited partner, your partnership is now a limited partnership. Okay? But as long as later we will learn that um, if you want to create a limited partnership, there must be at least one general partner. Dili pud pwede tanan limited partners. Okay? So, but in general, if you will not, uh, specify whether you are a general partner or a limited partner, then kung silent lang inyong agreement, then the law will assume that you all are general partners. So since you all are general partners, you are burdened with unlimited liability. Okay? Unlimited siya. Kaya kanong ganito? Kay pwede ang creditors sa partnership, pwede magukod sa imuhang personal assets. Okay, essential features of a partnership, there must be a valid contract. So again, we go back to the definition of partnership. It is a contract. So since it is a contract, you need to comply with the requisites of a valid contract, which is your cause, object, and consideration. So if any of these is lacking, then it is not a valid contract. So since it is not a valid contract, there is no partnership to begin with. Okay. So, okay. And then have no required form is necessary, as what I have mentioned a while ago, diba? Informal siya in a sense that a partnership will be created by mere meeting of the minds. So no form is necessary. But a contract is subject to the provisions of Articles 1771 and 1773, which we will discuss later on of the Civil Code and to the Statute of Frauds. But remember in your oblicon, Statute of Frauds will not affect the validity of the contract, but rather on the enforceability, correct? Enforceability. And then the parties must have legal capacity like any other contract. You need to be of legal age. So what if minors na tambay-tambay sa gawas, abot-abot, bay, himo tag in-ani nga partnership. So kana palang daan because they lack legal capacity to enter into a contract, then there is no valid partnership created. There must be a mutual contribution of money, property, or industry to a common fund. Okay, balik na nino. So, naitulo ka buok nga things that you could contribute. Money, property, or industry. So, if you contribute money, it must be in legal tender. So, what do you mean by legal tender? Naapod sa ato ang oblikon, no? Sa inyong payment, katong sa payment na portion sa inyong oblikon. So, legal tender, katong Philippine money, you already had this in your oblicon naman. So, for example, if you want to contribute in tag piso-piso, so kung tag piso-piso, let's say, contribute ko 100,000 tig mamiso, pwede ba na siya? Yes, it's legal tender because if it's 1 peso, you have a particular legal tender for that. But for 25 cents, naara po kay maximum amount to contribute gamit ang 25 cents. So, it must be legal tender. So, therefore, checks, drafts, promissory notes, and other mercantile documents are not money. They are only considered as having contributed if they have already been cashed. Property, it may be real property, personal property, corporeal, or incorporeal property. When we say corporeal, that means tangible properties, incorporeal, intangible properties. And you already know what are intangible properties, diba, in your financial accounting subject. And then industry, you can also contribute your industry. This means your active cooperation, the work of the party associated, which may be either personal manual effort or intellectual, and for which he receives a share in the profits, not salary of the business. So it's emphasized here, as I have also mentioned in passing a while ago, your contribution of your efforts, your work. No, this is not in a capacity of an employee. So since dili man ka employee, di ka magtawad og salary. But you will receive a share in the profits because you are a partner. And then the object must be lawful. So this means that the purpose of you establishing the partnership must be lawful as well. So for example, you cannot make a partnership for the purpose of selling drugs, right? So the purpose of your partnership must be lawful. And then the primary purpose must be to obtain profits and to divide the same among the parties. Again, I have mentioned this kadagana. There is no such thing as non-profit partnership. Always do not for profit. If you want to create a legal entity for charitable purposes, then you should create a corporation, not partnership. And then the partnership has a juridical personality separate from individual partners. I also emphasized this a while ago that if you have 2 partners and then you want to create a partnership, there are 3 persons na partnership and then the 2 partners. Okay, again, the partnership must be for a lawful purpose. It must have a lawful object and or purpose and must be established for the common benefit or interest of the partners. So what is the consequence if there is no lawful purpose for the creation of your partnership? Then the partnership agreement is void ab initio. When we say void ab initio, void at the very beginning. So there is no other wala na mo'y lain kailangan pang buhaton for it to become void. It is void from the very beginning. Okay. So, ang basis nato is actually your oblicon. Because again, partnership is a contract, right? So, we abide with the laws on contracts. So, ang basis ani is Article 1409 of the Civil Code, which says that contracts whose purpose is contrary to law are void from the very beginning. Void ab initio. When an unlawful partnership is dissolved by a judicial decree, the profits shall be confiscated in favor of the state without prejudice to the provisions of the Penal Code governing the confiscation of the instrument and effects of a crime. So, for example, um, wala wala dayon mo nasakpan pa nga ang inyong partnership is illegal di ay. And then someone else filed a case against you to have a judicial declaration na si judge jud mingon nga, oh, this purpose is unlawful. So if that happens, all your profits will be confiscated by the state, by the government, without prejudice to the provisions of the Penal Code, which means that without prejudice to you being imprisoned or for to you being penalized because you are engaging into an unlawful practice. No? So okay, this unlawful meaning against the law. So you may have um, penalties as well, either a cash penalty or an imprisonment. Okay, wala gid mo yung makuha. And then all your instruments and effects of the crime will also be confiscated or even destroyed. Like for example, your laptop nga gigamit sa inyong partnership kay lagi ang inyong purpose is unlawful man, so i-confiscate po na tanan. Confiscate on in favor of the state. So tanan mga gigamit niyo dira sa inyong business will be confiscated. And upon the dissolution of an unlawful partnership, the profits are simply confiscated by the state. The previous rule is to give such profits to a charitable institution. So sa una daw, ang profits, ang rule ana is ang profits nga i-confiscate will be given to a charitable institution. But the prevailing rule now is that all profits of an unlawful partnership will be confiscated by the state. Naniguro ang government na ilahan na lang daw. The profit and tools or instruments in the partnership with an unlawful purpose will be confiscated in favor of the government. But if the partners were not in pari delicto, they may be able to recover their contribution to the partnership instead of it being forfeited as well. So when we say in pari delicto, that means bad faith plus bad faith. Kamong duha, bad faith. For example, yun ka nga, ako partner, capitalist partner ko, hatag ra ko og money. Ang ako i-contribute money. Kamo na lay bahala na kay busy magud ko. Kwarta lang jud akong ihatag. Pwede ba na? Na di na ka manghilabot, igor ka mohatag kwarta. Pwede? Yes or no? Pwede, di ba? Pwede. Kaya dili man necessarily nga kung kwarta imong ihatag, kailangan sa kamo trabaho para sa partnership. So kung kwarta, pwede na jud kwarta. Manadayon. Okay? So for example, may ka nga, oh, kanang mahatag ko kwarta for the partnership. Then, kamo na lay bahala sa day-to-day operations, ana. Unya, wa di ka kahibaw, ang inyong partnership, gigamit di ay as murag kung sa salida pa ba murag siya og front lang. But then, naaday illegal operations. So if ikaw, igor ka ni hatag og money for the partnership. So you are not in bad faith, right? You're not in bad faith because you did not know that your other partners DI will use your partnership to conduct illegal operations. So since you are not in bad faith, you may be able to recover your contribution. So ang pasabot ani, if the partners were not in pari delicto, both at fault, ang pasabot ani in pari delicto, both at fault. So if there is someone that is not at fault, meaning wala siya bad faith, then you may be able to recover your contribution. But of course, the burden of proof to prove ba nga, wala jud kay idea na nag-illegal na din yung partnership rests on you. Kay ikaw man ang niingon nga, wala ko kahabaw nga illegal din ni. So, the burden of proof is on you. Okay. And then common benefit, a partnership must be established for the common benefit of the partners. We already, I think, clear naman ni siya sa itong minds, no? Clear na sa itong minds. Then, so therefore, you cannot exclude one partner. No nga. Di ba kaya intention is to divide profits among yourselves. Kasi pasabot sa among yourselves, kamo tanan as partners. So dili pwede sa inyong sabot. Ang isa ka partner way labot sa share. So if ever man gani naamoy in ana nga sabot, that provision in your partnership contract is void. Therefore, wala mo'y katungod to exclude a partner from the distribution of profits. Bisag unsa pa na ninyong kahit, mo'y kag gatinapulan ra man din ni siya. Mo man siya, o siya na-contribute aside sa kwarta nga iyang gihatag no, wa jud siya na-contribute sa atong partnership. Di na nato siya tagaan og kuan share. that is not allowed. So if you really want to exclude that someone from the share profit, so what will you do? Sige daw, what will you do? You dissolve your existing partnership and then create a new one with the partners that you like. You exclude him. But for the purpose of this current partnership, you need to give him a share of your profits. Okay? Okay, then again, but balik na po, the partnership has a juridical personality separate and distinct from each of that partners. So, who may enter into partnership? Sa mga persons who may become partners. Any person capacitated to contract may enter into a contract of partnership. Therefore, as a rule, as long as you are of legal age, you may enter into a contract of partnership. So therefore, the following persons cannot enter into a contract of partnership. Those suffering from civil interdiction, so ang kasabutan ng civil interdiction, for example, you are already of legal age, but napriso man ka, and then your your imprisonment carries with it an accessory penalty of civil interdiction. So you cannot enter into basabot ng civil interdiction. Stop mo civil rights to enter into a contract. So even though you are of legal age, but you are suffering from civil interdiction, you cannot enter into a partnership. Okay. Then minors, of course, very obvious. Insane or demented persons. Why? Because they will not understand. They will not understand your sabot because they are insane. So you cannot enter into a partnership with these persons. Deaf mutes who do not know how to write. Because again, they will not also understand kung sa inyong nasabutan, sa inyong nasabutan. Incompetents who are under guardianship. Okay. So ang kaning incompetence actually covers those minors, insane or demented persons and deaf mutes. Exceptions. The capacity of the following persons to enter into a contract of partnership, though capacitated to contract generally, are limited. So, for example, wala ka nagsuffer from civil interdiction, dili sad ka minor, dili ka insane, dili ka deaf mute, dili ka incompetent. So, as a rule, you are allowed to enter into a partnership, right? Kaya wala man ka na-fall under any disqualifications. However, even if you did not fall under these disqualifications, you are still not allowed to enter into a partnership okay, if you are one of those persons prohibited from giving each other donation or advantage. I don't know if you already discussed the law on donations, but there are specific persons who are prohibited to give donations to each other. Who are these persons? Those made between persons who were guilty of adultery or concubinage at the time of the donation. So, ang kani mga persons diri that are prohibited from giving each other donation, at the same time, they are prohibited from entering into a partnership. For example, minyo ka, nakikabit, nakikabit. And then, so of course, you are prohibited from donating something to your kabit. Okay, that is prohibited by law. But of course, in reality, mahitabo mo dyan na kay kabit yun, pinangga dyan, di ba? Natagan dyan na. But in a legal perspective, that is not allowed. So since they are not allowed to donate to each other, they're also not allowed to enter into a contract of partnership. So even though you are both of legal age, you are not suffering from civil interdiction, you are not insane, you are not deaf mute, you are not incompetent, but the mere fact that the two of you, among nga ganahan maghimong partnership, are guilty of adultery or concubinage, di mo pwede mag-enter into a partnership. Okay? But pwede mo, kung for example, ikaw kabit ka, ganahan ka mo enter into a partnership, pwede raman, as long as dili sa katong imuhang lover. Okay? So you are allowed to enter into a partnership with someone else, any other person, as long as not your lover. Nga, guilty pud sa adultery or concubinage. Okay? Those made between persons found guilty of the same criminal offense in consideration thereof. So, for example, um, uh, kanang, halika, kuan mo, gunman for hire, no kamong duha, Nya, bay nindot ning negosyo nindot ako kay tagko makwarta ani. So, natay gipatay duha ka natay gipatay nga tawo nagtunga ta sa money nga gihatag sa kuan nagpapatay. Dakuha day na 1,000,000. Puwede kaning gamiton kaning 1,000,000 nga atong nadawat, gamiton kaha ni nato as contribution sa isa ka partnership mag-business ta bay. Gamit aning 1,000,000 nga atong nadawat gikan sa ato ang trabaho sa pagpatay sa isa ka person. So, you two are not allowed to enter into a partnership. Okay? But you are allowed to enter into a partnership with someone else. Just kamo lang duha ang dili pwede. Those need to a public officer's wife, descendants and ascendants by reason of his office. So for example, kuan ka kana mahilig kay kag under the table. Ah, kada 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 transact nimo sa government mag under the table jud ka. Mayon ka sa taga BIR nga. Nindot siya nga business ta maghimo ka ta og kuan o kanang accounting firm nya kuan kanang for BIR compliance. So dili pwede kay kamong duha ang ang briber o ang the one being bribed dili mo pwede maghimo og contract of partnership kamong duha. But someone else pwede. Every donation or grant of gratuitous advantage, direct or indirect, to the spouses during the marriage shall be void except moderate gifts, which the spouses may give to each other on the occasion of any family rejoicing. The prohibition shall apply to persons living together as husband and wife without a valid marriage. So, in your law and the nations, actually daw, ang husband and wife are prohibited from giving donations with each other. And why is that so? Because not sure if you have encountered this term before, but we have this so-called absolute community of property. Kanong naman na absolute community of property and conjugal partnership of gains. Correct? So, if maghatag mo sa each other o kana gifts, that means kay di ba gi-merge naman ang yung tanan inyo ha? What is yours is mine. What's mine is yours. So if you give gifts to each other, murarag ibalhin nimo imong kwarta sa imong pikas sa imong right nga bulsa, imo rang gibalhin sa imong left nga bulsa. Okay, so actually spouses are prohibited from donating to each other except moderate gifts on the occasion of family rejoicing. Ginagmay lang nga gifts. Then a corporation cannot enter into a partnership in the absence of express authorization by its statute or charter. So this means that you may actually have a partner that is not a natural person. Okay, so a partner could be a natural person. When we say natural person, dili katong natural lang ko. Natural meaning person yun human being. Okay? But also, a juridical person may also become a partner. So, dili ra tao ang mo pwede partner. Pwede sad another juridical personality. But for corporation, they may enter into a partnership with someone else as long as it is allowed by their statute. Ang pasabot ang statute nila or charter, this is actually their articles and bylaws. Okay, but of course, if their bylaws prohibit this particular corporation from entering into a partnership, then that corporation is not allowed to enter into a partnership. But however, although a corporation cannot enter into a partnership contract, it may, however, engage in a joint venture with others. Okay, so ang joint venture is actually akin to a partnership, but ang only difference lang is si partnership manggod mura ba og forever. Forever. If you enter into a partnership, you intend to be bound forever. Dili man sad murag nawa naman akong naoy tay sa kanang so if you enter into a partnership, of course, dili man sad mo yun nga kutob kani atong business by I'm sure kutob ra ni siya 20 years. Dili man sad mo inana ka nega no if mo enter mo og partnership. So if you enter into a partnership, then your intention intention at the very outset no, is to really um, have this partnership forever. Kaya ang partnership, wala man siya expiration. Unlike sa una sa corporation, di ba, ang before the implementation of the revised corporation code, the existence of a corporation is maximum 50 years. No? But because of the revised corporation code, perpetuity na. Perpetuity na. More same sa partnership. Kaning si joint venture is actually like a partnership in a sense nga, naa kay ka-partner, but ang joint venture is not forever as compared sa partnership. So, ang joint venture is actually created for a specific purpose. Like for example, let's say ang purpose is to build a bridge. Once the bridge is already okay na, functional na siya, then the joint venture will cease to exist. Okay, for a specific purpose lang. Where the partnership agreement provides that the two partners will manage the partnership so that the management of corporate interest is not surrendered, the partnership may be allowed. Okay, that is also very understandable. On the other hand, there is no prohibition against a partnership being a partner in another partnership. So again, being a partner doesn't necessarily require that you are a natural person. Therefore, a juridical entity or a juridical person may become a partner. So if you are to compare this to a corporation, allowed ba nga mahimong incorporator ang isa ka juridical person? Yes or no? So if allowed siya mahimong partner, if a juridical person is allowed to become a partner, is it also allowed that a juridical person be an incorporator? Do you think? Sige, wait sa pagtingin sa mo while I turn on my lights. Okay. So, answer? Taman. An incorporator? Sige na ni answer dire. Yes, attorney. What the others? Sige ha, that's your assignment. Sige daw. Try to figure out if pwede ba ang isa ka juridical entity mahimong incorporator. But again, since partnership man akong topic, let's be clear that for purposes of partnership, a juridical person may also become a partner. Okay? Dili necessarily na natural person. Okay, object of universal partnership. So, when we hear the word universal partnership, we are actually looking at the property or what is being contributed. What is being contributed. So, because we are talking about the object is what you contribute to the partnership. So, it is a universal partnership if the partners contribute all the property which belongs to them to a common fund with the intention of dividing the same among themselves as well as the profits they may acquire therewith. So, sayon ra siya timentan. Universal gani. Tanan, all-encompassing, no? So broad. Dako yang scope. So, ang universal partnership is when the partners will contribute everything that they have. They put all their eggs in one basket. And I think this is very, very, very rare, diba? Because of course, if you will enter into a partnership, di man sad siguro kaganahan nga imong i-contribute tanan-tanan, bigay mo na lahat, no? So dapat mag-reserve sa ka para sa yourself. Dili nimo ihatag tanan, correct? So, but if you really intend to contribute everything that you have, then that is a universal partnership. Hatag na ko tanan para nimo or para sa atong partnership. Okay? Universal. The property contributed includes all those belonging to the partners at the time of the constitution of the partnership. So whatever properties that I have, that you have at the at the meeting of the minds when the partnership starts existing, then all of these properties already belong to the partnership. So medyo risky siya, correct? A stipulation for the common enjoyment of any profits may also be made. However, the property which the partners may acquire subsequently by inheritance, legacy, or donation cannot be included in such stipulation except the fruits thereof. So, wala tay question no as to the existing properties. So, tanan existing properties nimo at the time of the constitution of the partnership will become part of the partnership assets. But for those that you will subsequently, okay, subsequent is in the future, di ba? So, tanan existing, walay question, padong na siya sa partnership. But for those subsequently acquired by inheritance, legacy, or donation, unsa may common denominator ano nilang inheritance, legacy, or donation? Those received by you gratuitously, di ba? If you inherit something, that's gratuitous. Wala kay gibayad ana. Nakadawat lang ka as your inheritance. Legacy, um, a legatee. This is still also inheritance, no? When you receive a legatee, I think that's real property. So if you receive a real property, no, dili, personal property din ang legacy. Ang device di ay ang real property. So if you receive, but in any case, legacy is also an inheritance or a donation. Donation is also gratuitous. So these properties that you will subsequently acquire gratuitously, they will not form part of the partnership. Okay, unsa day rational na hunahunaan nila nga since gihatag man na sa imong lolo baron or sa imong parents by way of inheritance, that means that the decedent actually intended that you will enjoy it. Ikaw gyud ang mag-enjoy ana nga property. So dili na siya appeal sa imong ma-contribute dito sa partnership. So hunahunaan lang nga, whatever you will receive by way of gratuitous title, that will be excluded even though universal partnership mo. However, ang income coming from those properties that you have gratuitously acquired will form part of the universal partnership. Ang ma-exclude lang is the property itself, but the fruits of those properties will also be included if you have a universal partnership. Okay? And ang all properties and then all profits, it comprises all that the partners may acquire by their industry or work during the existence of the partnership. So, for example, aside from this partnership, nagtrabaho sad ka somewhere else, no? So, since nagtrabaho ka somewhere else, you will also be receiving salary from that, correct? But if your partnership is a universal partnership, ang salaries, ang imong sweldo sa other ni mga work will also inure to the benefit of the partnership kay universal partnership lagi mo. So all encompassing jud siya, no? Tanan nimong ma-acquire through your efforts will also form part of the partnership if your partnership is a universal partnership. Attorney who usually forms this kind of partnership, my lifetime no wala pa jud ko'y nakit-an nga universal partnership ever sa tanan akong mga na-deal nga mga partnership. So could be you could enter into this kind of partnership if you really trust the person like 100%. Imong gi-entrust imong life, mura biyan imong gi-entrust imong life sa iya kay tanan imong properties karon and in the future maadto sa partnership. But I can't think of any example because I haven't seen jud a partnership that is a universal partnership. Maybe this will just remain as academic, no, for the purposes lang of like theories. When the articles of universal partnership do not specify its nature, all present property, or all the profits, the partnership may be considered as one only of all the profits. So you can actually specify unsa man nga klase of universal partnership atong ganahan. Universal partnership of properties or universal partnership of profits or both and kamoy magbuot. So if If silent, wala mo nagpili kung of all present property ba or all profits, then it will only be considered all profits because this is the least imposing, least burdensome. So this will be assumed by the law. So rule on after acquired properties, aside from the contributed properties, only the profits of the contributed common property, no other profits are included. Thus, should a partner subsequently acquire a property as remuneration for his work, such property and its fruits are not to be enjoyed by the universal property of all present property. So again, you must specify whether your universal partnership is of present property or of profits. Okay. Property subsequently acquired by inheritance, ako na nag-mention kanina, by way of gratuitous title, that is not included. So, okay, mo to siya sa universal partnership. So, ang iyang opposite is what we call your particular partnership. So, we are still looking at the object, so what is being contributed? So, a particular partnership has for its object determinate things, their use or fruits, or a specific undertaking, or the exercise of a profession or vocation. So, this one is the most common, Jud. So, you will specify, you will determine the onset what you will contribute to the partnership. And this needs no further discussion because masabtan naman gid siya, no? So, if you specify what you will contribute, then that is a particular partnership. Okay, so we also we were also able to discuss this. Now, what is the effect if you have an unlawful object or purpose? So your contract of partnership is void ab initio. It will your profits will be confiscated as well as your instruments and tools and proceeds of the crime. Okay, so form again. Partnership is informal. Ngano ganito kay consensual ra siya. So it does not need any legal document for it to exist by mere meeting of the minds. So the contract may be constituted in any form. But there are exceptions. So, mo ni akong gingon ganina katong 1771, 1773 o Statute of Frauds. Exceptions. Where immovable property or real rights are contributed, the contract must appear in a public instrument. So but for example, if what you will contribute are money ra, so since money is a movable property or a personal property, then you need not execute your contract in a public instrument. But if you are to contribute an immovable property, if even one partner will contribute an immovable property, then your contract must appear in a public instrument. Unsay pasabot public instrument? Pasabot ana notarized. Notarized ang inyong partnership agreement. And attached to such instrument must be an inventory signed by the parties of the property contributed. So, imong ilista dito sa inyong gipanotaryuhan nga partnership agreement, imong ilista dito unsa nga mga immovable properties ang na-involve. Okay? Kay stricto magud kayo because since immovable property man siya, that means the title to such, for example, nayuta, no, in my name, let's say in my name, then I want to contribute my yuta to the partnership. So that means the owner of the yuta will not anymore be me, but the partnership, right? So there must be a change in title. So, puti man kayo na ang register of deeds. The title of the properties are within the jurisdiction of the register of deeds. So, kailangan notarized. And then inyong specify yun dito, i-inventory ninyo. Dili ra ninyo isulti nga one lot. You need to describe it based on that sa titulo sa yuta naman na dere kanang specific description, blah blah blah, degrees to the west and so on. So very very technical nga description sa yuta. Dapat i-appeal na ninyo sa inyong instrument. Ang pasabot aning instrument is your partnership agreement. And then where the capital is at least 3,000 in money or property, the contract must appear in a public instrument and it must be recorded in the Office of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So the jurisdiction, same sila of jurisdiction actually with corporation. The regulatory body uh, that monitors partnership is also SEC. So if your capital is at least 3,000, your contract must appear in a public instrument, so panotaryuhan ra gihapon, and it must be recorded in the Office of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So actually, ano ra ni siya, sayon ra ni siya ipa-register sa SEC. Online ra siya. That's what I did with my current partnership. No, I established a partnership last month, um, and we just did our registration online with SEC, and then na you actually do not need to like type the documents on your own. Naara sila pro forma dira. You just input the names of the partners, the contributions, and then after which you decide on a partnership name, dapat walay kaparehas, and then you can print na the documents and then have it notarized, and then send the physical copies to the SEC. Nanra. As to the second, failure to comply with these requirements, however, does not affect the liability of the partnership and the partners to third persons. Ang pasabot ani actually is if wala ninyo ni siya gi-follow. Let's say your capital is at least 3,000, but you did not register your partnership with the SEC. Okay? Does that mean that your partnership is void? No. No. It still remains valid. Okay. But it's just that you might be penalized by the government for not being able to comply with the registration requirement. However, you cannot say that your partnership is void because wala ninyo gi-register sa SEC. Okay, again, kasi ganito ang rule, partnership, the existence of the partnership starts from the moment of meeting of the minds between the parties. Miss, what if na ay wala ma-disclose nga contribution? What will happen? What do you mean? So for example, actually, dili na siya mahitabo in actual practice ha. Dili na siya mahitabo nga walay ma-disclose nga contribution. Kaya iniglista nimo ana, di ba, online naman na ang registration sa SEC. Inig-type nimo ana dito sa name sa partner. Tapad ana, naagyo na direct butang unsay iyang gi-contribute. If blanco na siya, wa nimo na butangan og contribution. Dili na siya dawaton sa system. Okay? Dili siya dawaton sa system. But of course, you are also, for example, let's say a certain partner contributes duha ka bug contribute money and property, but ang imuharang na report is ang money, nakalimtan nimo ang property, then you can amend. You can amend naman. Pwede ra gyapon. Okay, so failure to comply with the requirements under Article 1771 and 1772 of the Civil Code affords the parties the remedy of demanding that it be executed in a public instrument. So, if you forgot na, lo, kuan man di ay, based akong na-learn sa law on partnership, kuan man di ay, kailangan man din nato panotaryuhan ang ato ang partnership, but nakalimot manggudta. So, your only right is to demand your from your partners that your agreement be notarized. Okay, so you can enforce your right. But again, you cannot say, ay, nakalimtan man na mo ang partnership agreement nga ipanotaryo. Sorry, void among partnership. Dili pwede. So, dili ka pwede ka raise ana nga defense. For example, naamoy creditor nga naningil ninyo. Uy, bayarin ako. Eh, ingon mo nga mabayad na mo ani nga time. Excuse me, ang amo ang partnership bitaw kay wala bitaw siya na notaryuhan. Void among partnership, so that means di ka ka-collect from the partnership. So dili na pwede nga defense, okay? So your partnership remains to be valid despite that. It's just that you have the right to demand from the other partners that your partnership agreement be in a public instrument. Okay? For a while ha, magkuha kong charger sa akong laptop. So, okay, duration or life of the partnership. So again, a partnership begins from the moment of the execution of the contract unless otherwise stipulated. Ang pasabot ang execution of the contract, dili pasabot nagpinirmahay mo ha, but the execution of the contract meaning when the contract was perfected. Ano sa gani perfected ang ato ang partnership? The moment of meeting of the minds. Okay, so that is a commencement of our partnership. So as to period, a partnership may either be for a fixed term or particular undertaking. So even though I mentioned a while ago no, na forever ang partnership, but you still have the liberty to agree with your other partners that your partnership will only be for a particular period. Like, wala man siya magbuot ninyo, may mga at 20 years lang ta magpartner or kanilang for a specific purpose niya. Once we achieve this purpose, then we will dissolve na our partnership. You can also do that. Or it may be at will. Ang pasabot ng at will, forever siya and it will depend whether ganahan pa mo or di na. So at will, the formation and dissolution of which depend on the mutual desire and consent of the parties. So, masyag mahog nga forever. As long as ganahan, wala mo niingon nga di na mo ganahan, then mo continue ra gyud ang partnership. Any one of the partners may, at his sole pleasure, dictate the dissolution of the partnership, even in bad faith, subject to liability for damages. So, if a partnership is a partnership at will, that means that anyone can say, ayoko na, stop na tayo. Okay? So, pwede na siya. Okay? And then, so for example, if your partnership is for a fixed term, you may extend it. Like for example, initially you mentioned this partnership lang sa is good for 5 years. And then after the lapse of 5 years, you can expressly agree with each other, with the partners na i-renew na to because nindot man di ang dagan sa atong partnership. Kasi nabot raman di ita, niya profitable ra po ato ang business, then we will renew it. So that's express renewal. Or it could be implied renewal when these requisites concur. Partnership is for a fixed term, of course, and it is continued after the termination of the fixed term or particular undertaking without any express agreement. So ang difference lang dyan nila is sa express renewal, isulti dyan mo, i-confess dyan ka. No? Implied renewal is when nahuman na ang 5 years, pero nagpadayon ra manggihapon mo. Wala mo nagsabot-sabot. No, nalapas na lang ang 5 years, nagpadayon ra gihapon me. Looks like we made it. No? So, implied renewal. Implied, di balagwa mo nagsinurya ay, pero nagkasinabot na dayon mo sa inyong hearts and minds nga padayon ra gihapon ni nato. Okay, again, kaning mga renewal, this is only applicable for those partnerships that have a fixed term. Because if a partnership is a partnership at will, there is no term to renew in the first place, di ba? Kaya at will good. So, depende rin nyo kung kano sa. Okay, and then, rules of the permanent existence, when the intent of the parties is clear, such intent shall govern. But it does not clearly appear, the following rules shall apply. So, if klaro kayo sa inyong sabot, but there is no gray area, no doubts at all. So, mo na mo govern ninyo. But if may gray area, may doubtful parts, the following rules shall apply. Persons who are not partners to each other are not partners to third persons, subject to the provisions and partnership by estoppel. So meaning, if wala dyan mo nagsabot, wala ni siya appeal sa nagsabot as partner, wala siya ni consent, na mo-appeal siya sa inyong partnership, since you are not partners to each other, you are not also partners to third persons. So in the eyes of third persons, this particular, let's say Mr. X, so if Mr. X did not consent to become a partner to our partnership, then we will not consider Mr. X as a partner. Since Mr. X is not considered a partner, other persons outside of us should not also look at Mr. X as a partner, except if we have partnership by estoppel. Meaning to say, estoppel, pasabutan, you have created an impression in the minds of third persons that you are partners, even though you are not. Okay, so for example, nag-transact si Mr. X in the name of the partnership sa lahi nga person. And then ikaw nakahibaw ka, ikaw partner ka, nakahibaw ka, wala ra sad kay giri-react. No, so wa ka niingon sa other person, uy, excuse me, si Mr. X dili man na siya connected namo. Wala ra sad kay gibuhat. So in the mind of the third person, nagtuo siya kasi Mr. X partner and you did not do anything about it. So you now have a partnership by Stoppel. So kung sa uyab pa na mayon ka let's say gi-introduce nimo ako kuyog ka sa imong girl space friend dili girlfriend, so girl space friend kuyog ka unya nakakita mo common friend yan ingon to ang girl space friend nga ay by the way boyfriend di ay nako si kuan nya ikaw nga lalaki wa ka ni istorya maghilom ka so nagtuo na pod ang other person nga uyab gyud ay mong duha so uyab na mo by Stoppel mo na siya. So that means pasabot anang estoppel is when you have the opportunity to contest something, you have the opportunity to tell the truth, but you did not tell the truth. Then you are stupid. You meaning later on you cannot deny anymore. Okay, so same with partnership. So if you created an impression in the minds of third persons that this particular person is a partner, then it will become your partner by Stoppel, but only with respect to such third person nga nagtuo. But for other persons nga wala kibaw, then that person is not your partner. Okay? Co-ownership or co-possession does not of itself establish a partnership, even when there is sharing of profits in the use of the property. So for example, uh, two persons, two persons inherited a common property. Let's say naay namatay, and then naa siya yuta. And then this yuta is bequeathed to Mr. A and Mr. B. So sila lang duha. Ingon si namatay based sa iyang will. Oh, ang yuta na po sa Cebu City para ni siya ni Mr. A ug Mr. B. Kamong duha ang muon ani. Pwede na siya, yes, pwede na siya. But by the mere fact that you both owned a property does not mean that you already have a partnership. Because again, you go back, di ba, partnership is consensual. In this case, since you both inherited a property, you become co-owners, you actually did not intend, di ba? Wala man mo ni consent anak nga, uy, maghimo kag partnership. So, lacking that very important element, it will not lead to the creation of a partnership. Okay? So, exception, the co-ownership of inherited property is automatically converted into an unregistered partnership the moment said common properties and or the income derived therefrom are used as a common fund with intent to produce profits for the heirs in proportion to their respective shares in the inheritance as determined in a project partition. Ang pasabot ani is, when you inherited something that is income generating, and then later on you use that income, you distributed that income to the co-owners and then use the profits to further the to further the business or the property itself to create or to generate more profits pa jud, then you become an unregistered partnership. Okay, but the mere fact that you are co-owners will not necessarily mean that you are into partnership. You will become an unregistered partnership if there is a profit already and then you distributed that profit among yourselves. And then you use that profit also to further the purpose of the property for it to generate more profits by in the future. So it will become an unregistered partnership. Sharing of gross returns does not of itself establish a partnership, even when the parties have joint or common interest in any property from which the returns are derived. So gross returns, like for example, see you relate this to co-ownership. So for example, you co-owned a property and then later on you decided to sell that co-owned property and then nagtunga mo sa halin. So it doesn't mean nga naamoy partnership. The receipt by a person of a share in the profits of a business is prima facie evidence that he is a partner. So, if you are receiving a share in the profits of a business, that means you are a partner. Because if you are a mere employee has no right to receive a share in the profits, but rather a mere employee has a right to receive salary. If you are receiving a share in the profits, then that will become a prima facie evidence that you are also a partner. Okay, so I say prima facie evidence because prima facie wait. Okay, prima facie evidence, meaning you can actually um, rebut it. It is a rebuttable presumption. So the law will assume that you are a partner if you are receiving a share in the profits. But you have also the right to present controverting evidence to wait. um so you have the right to present rebuttal evidence to say otherwise nga, "Oy, I'm not a partner although I am receiving profits because kuan magud sir, oh pakita dayon ni imuhang employment contract mo, dili magud sa employment contract ingon magud akong boss nga aside sa ako ang sweldo makadawat ko ng share sa profits if taas akong sales." So pwede na siya. Okay. As to the fourth, no such inference is drawn if the profits are received in payment as a debt by installment or otherwise. So, if nakadawat ko no kag share sa profits because naiutang si partnership nimo, then you will not become a partner by the mere fact that you received a share in the profits. Or as a wage of an employee or rent to a landlord. So, as what I have mentioned a while ago, if that's part of your employment agreement nga makadawat ka og share sa profits as an employee, then you will not be considered as a partner. Now, take note, it is very, very much crucial to determine whether a particular person is a partner or not. Because if you are considered a partner, mas daghan imong liabilities compared sa employee ka. Diba? Kaya kung employee ka, kung ka mo trabaho daw sildo. Pero if you are a partner, you have first, if you're a general partner, you have unlimited liability, right? Your personal assets could be used by the partnership creditors as payment of the liabilities of the partnership. And then, daghan pa kag other liabilities to third person. So lisod kaayo na nga ma-consider ka as a partner when in fact you are not a partner. Or if a share in the profit is given as an annuity to a widow or representative of a deceased partner. So, for example, namatay ang isa ka partner and then ang share atong partner nga namatay gihatag sa iyang widow. So, the widow will not become a partner by the mere fact that the widow has received a share in the profits. An interest on a loan. So, if you're a creditor, same concept with letter A. And then as consideration for the sale of a goodwill of a business or other property by installments or otherwise. So murag kag creditor in this case. Okay. Kinds of partnerships. Oh, let me know ha if gibuton na mo so we can actually have either depende ninyo ha, so we can have a break and then continue, or pwede sad nga i-continue na to sa other day if ganahan mo, but yeah, depende lang sa inyong preference ha. So as to the legality of its existence, okay, we are now on the kinds of partnership. So as to legality, a partnership could be a partnership de jure. So when we say partnership de jure, it's 100% valid in the eyes of the law. Why? Because it has complied with all the requisites for its lawful establishment. Like for example, if your partners has contributed an immovable property, and then you really executed your partnership in a public instrument with the attachment of inventories, no, nakakomply mo sa requirements sa law, then your partnership is a de jure partnership. But for example, if your capital is at least 3,000, but you were not able to execute a public instrument for your partnership, and then you did not register in the SEC, so you are not partnership de jure because you were not able to comply with all the requisites for your lawful establishment. But in this case, if you are not a partnership de jure, you are a partnership de facto. So you are a partnership in fact, although not in law, but you are a partnership in fact because you constituted yourself as a partner and then you conducted your partnership business. So you are a partnership in fact, de facto. So you will only become partnership de jure once you have already complied with all the requirements as provided by the law. So if you are a partnership de facto, you can actually convert your partnership into partnership de jure. Like for example, if you forgot to execute a public instrument, then subsequently you can say to your partner, let's make this legal, okay? Let's make this legal. So let's execute a public instrument, have it notarized na sa notary public, and then register our partnership with the SEC. Then we will now become a partnership de jure. Okay. Then another kind of partnership, this time as to its object, we already know this, right? You can be a universal partnership or a particular partnership. And for a universal partnership, you can be a universal partnership of all present property or of profits. Again, if you will not specify that in your partnership agreement, unsa itong assumption, you will be a universal partnership of profits. Okay, that's the assumption. And then as to your duration, you can be a partnership for a fixed term or particular undertaking, or you can be a partnership at will. In my case, with my partner, the newly formed partnership that we have is a partnership at will. So I actually created a partnership with my boyfriend. No? So we have now a partnership. Okay. And then as to the liability of the partners, you can be a general or a limited partner, right? So I have discussed this as well a while ago. Then for general partnership, so okay. You are liable per rata for partnership obligation. So once we say per rata is meaning if 50% imong share sa profits and losses, then 50% should imong share. No? And that if you have 20%, 20% imong share. But if dili enough ang partnership assets to satisfy all partnership liabilities, you are liable with your personal properties, no? With all their personal property, with all their property, pasabot na with all their property, including ilahang own yun ng property after the exhaustion of partnership assets. Then limited partnership, this includes aside from general partners, limited partners who are not personally liable for partnership obligations. Mo na akong giingon. So if you want to limit your obligation to the extent lang yun of your contribution, dili na kaganahan nga ang partnership creditors maka-run after your personal jud nga assets, then you become a limited partner. Then, as to your publicity, we have a secret partnership where the existence of certain persons as partners is not made known by the partners. So, if there are other partners nga wala ni mo gi-disclose sa public, you have secret partnership. Then you have open or notorious partnership, the existence of which is made known to the public by the partners. But of course, no, um, unsa nga mga instances no nga makaingkag na ay secret nga mga partners manong dili man nimo isulti sa secret isa day mo other partner secret lang. Okay, it could be no nga for example no you have a partner nga very rich, so naka-contribute siya dako kay nga capital sa inyong partner, but then for example if this particular person has a uh, bad reputation, so you will not want to associate your partnership with the name of such partner. It's just that ganahan lang ka mogamit siyang kwarta, no? Na siya ika-contribute nga kwarta. Pero, okay. And then he is also aware that he has a negative impression sa public. So, he is also agreeable to that nga dili na lang nimo ipahibaw sa uban. As long as naapod siya, di ba? Of course, naam sa siya share sa profits. So, mora yung ganahan, share sa profits. So, you can also do that. But most of the time, a partnership is open or notorious. So of course, imo jud ipaila-ila. Oh, this is my partner. Imo jud ibaligya, di ba? Nga, uy, among partners mga bigatin. Mo ni sila nga mga tao. Mo nilang mga credentials, di ba? And as to purpose, it may be commercial or trading. So for the purpose of kanang general business, like you want to sell something, you want to render service. But if you want to exercise your profession, so your purpose is professional partnership, in which case this is referred to as a general professional partnership. So a profession has been defined as a group of men pursuing a learned art as a common calling in the spirit of public service, no less a public service because it may incidentally be a means of livelihood. So we have to take note that for you to become partners in a general professional partnership, dapat kamong tanan same mo og profession. Okay? So for example, in my case, I am a CPA lawyer and my boyfriend is a Juris Doctor, padong pa siya magbar, Juris Doctor, and a real estate broker. So, although professional man siya, di ba? Professional siya, kay REB man siya, JD sad siya. Ako, professional sad ko, kay CPA ko, lawyer ko. But can we create a general professional partnership? So, no. Kaya nga naman, dili man common calling. So, pasabot, dili parehas ang amuang profession. So, we cannot create a GPP, but rather, our partnership with my boyfriend is a commercial partnership. It's not a professional partnership. So, later on, if you want to create a partnership with several professionals, no, na dili CPAs, lain-lain imong ganahan, then your partnership is not a general professional partnership. If you want to create a general professional partnership, dapat kung CPA ka, CPA sa mong tanan. Okay? Partners. Okay, so pag-ian lang na ito ha. I think we have some questions here. Okay, let me just read. Miss, does failure to comply with these requirements denote a de facto? Going back to de jure and de facto, now, we have a question here. Miss, does failure to comply with these requirements denote a de facto partnership? Yes, if you fail to execute your agreement in a public instrument when the law specifies you to do so, then you become a de facto partnership. However, lahi pud ang pasabot ani. For example, if your partnership is for an illegal purpose, Jude, if illegal purpose, you are not de jure, you are not de facto, neither. So kung illegal imong purpose, you are neither a de jure nor a de facto. You are illegal or void partnership. So meaning to say, when we say de facto, that means lawful jud inyong purpose. It's just that wala lang mo naka-comply sa katong public instrument, registration, blah, 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 kato siya. De jure mo. But in the first place, if illegal jud mismo ang inyong partnership, you are neither de jure nor de facto. Rather, you are void ab initio. Correct? Next, sana all partnership, okay. What if kanang secret partner kay illegal iyang contribution and aware ang uban partners of the situation, the consequences of an illegal partnership apply ba dayon po? Yes, yes. So ang secret partner, dapat dili illegal ang iyang contribution. Legal siya, but it's just that dili lang may maipahibaw sa public na kani siya nga person is a partner. But always comply with the legal requirements jud of a partnership. So dapat wala jud illegal ana apart. If na illegal, if secret siya nga partner, then illegal sa di ay mo din secret nimo ka illegal de yahang kuan. So dili, like for example, if secret ka ha kay kuan biya kanang concubine biya ti ka. Di man pwede concubine no nimo. So may secret. Kana palang daan, reason sa imong pag-secret niya is illegal in your partnership. Illegal jud tanan. Okay? Miss, can you contribute goodwill to a partnership? In a sense, yes, you can. Mura siya og contribution of an industry. Let's say goodwill, pasabot, you have a good name, no? So kasagaran ana kung kinsay na good name, kinsay na ilhan sa public nga nindot imong reputation, ikaw ay himo na nga first name partner. So for example, Hamisola and kuan. So for example, if sa among all the partners, ako ang pinakasikat niya, basta madunggan gani sa mga tao nga Hamisola, that means kuan din nindot. So pwede ra kana akong i-contribute, no? More siya in my industry. So I will become the first name partner na Hamisola and blah blah blah. Okay. And then another question here, attorney, if a partnership was not able to comply with the requirement, its judicial personality subsists maghihapon, attorney. Yes, its juridical personality subsists because we always go back to the commencement, no, as provided by law. The existence of a partnership will start upon meeting of the minds. No legal requirement whatsoever. It's just that if you will not comply with those public instrument thingy, no, you may be penalized. But the validity of your partnership will not be affected. It's just that you may be get penalized kay late kay ka nag-submit sa imong notarized agreement, na may penalty ana, but your partnership will still be valid. Okay, I think I have addressed all questions. So let's proceed. So kinds of partners, capitalist partner, if you are contributing money or property or contributing a capital. No, industrial partner, contribution is only his industry. General partner, whose liability to third persons extends to his separate property. Kasabot naman tani, di ba? Limited partner, liability to third persons is limited only to your capital contribution. Managing partner who is designated to manage the affairs or business of the partnership. Okay, so with this aspect, if you will not appoint a managing partner, the law will assume that everyone everyone has a right to manage the affairs of the business. But in reality, actually, when I tried to uh, register our partnership with SEC, no, ilamang kong ipa-indicate dito kung kinsa jud imong managing partner. So in our case, in my partnership with my boyfriend, I am the managing partner. Then liquidating partner, the one who takes charge of the winding up of partnership affairs. So if in case mabankrupt mo or even if di mo mabankrupt but di na mo magkasinabot, yun ang i-dissolve, i-liquidate na ninyo ang partnership assets, who will be the one to take care of the liquidation. So that is what we call your liquidating partner. My question, Miss, is it necessary for a managing partner to contribute capital or money to the partnership? No, the managing partner can also contribute industry. Okay, and then partner by stoppel. Ako nag-mention ganina, di ba? One who is not really a partner but is liable as such for the protection of innocent third persons. Isa maning innocent third persons, those are those persons that relied on your representation just because you did not correct him sa iyang understanding. Abi niya og partner ni siya. When in fact, dili. So, you cannot say later on, you cannot deny later on, uy, dili ni siya partner because you did not do something to correct the third person's impression or the third person's understanding of the nature of this person. No? Yeah, they siya partner. So, that becomes a partner by stoppel. Continuing partner, this is the one who continues the business after dissolution of the partnership by admission of a new partner or retirement, death, or expulsion of existing partners. So if there is a dissolution of the partner and then a partnership rather, and then um, um, after dissolution, you decided to continue with the other partners, so you are considered a continuing partner. Surviving partner who remains a partner after dissolution by death of a partner. So yes, you survive, wa ka namatay. Okay, then you are a surviving partner. Sub-partner who is not a member of the partnership but contracts with a partner with regard to the share of the latter in the partnership. So a sub-partner is not actually a partner. So more siya misleading no, gi-appeal siya diri sa kinds of partners when in fact he is not a partner. So sub-partner is just someone na imong gihatagan sa imong share. So for example, ako, partner ko, and then I have a creditor na ko'y utang. And then, I promised my creditor nga, uy, ang akong ibayad nimo is ang akong shares sa among partnership. So, katong si creditor na ko, siya ang murabag sub-partner because in a sense, he will receive my share. He will receive my share as payment of my debt. So, that creditor of mine is a sub-partner. But again, he is not considered a partner for legal purposes. No? Dili siya partner. Next question here. Attorney, in a situation na mag-best friend ang partners niya, ang uyab, kaya mag-best friend ang partners. Then, ang uyab sa one of the friends, kay mo transact with consent. Sub-partner na siya, miss. Dili, partner by stoppel. Okay? Partner by stoppel. Ang sub-partner is, kuan, makadawat sa share. Okay. Murabag i-assign ni mo niya ang imong share. Uy, nakoy share ba ang 100,000 every month sa among partnership? Ikalay dawat ani. Okay? So, mo na siya si sub-partner. Pero katong question diri nga, naiuyab sa one of the partners. And then, katong si uyab, wa siya labot sa partnership, ni transact siya with consent of the other partners. That uyab will become partner by stoppel because third persons will think that he is a partner. And then, di ba, you created an impression in the minds of the third persons nga this person is, this uyab is a partner when in fact he is not. So he will become partner by estoppel, which means that he will also become liable as a general partner with respect to that innocent third person. Okay, then ostensible partner who takes active part in the business of the partnership and is known by the public. So mo siya og sa katong partner ka and then known sad ka as partner sa public. So you are an ostensible partner. secret partner who takes active part in the business but wala kahibaw ang public about you being a partner. Um, we have a question here. What is the difference between managing partner and ostensible partner? Okay. Ang managing partner mangkod is mas dako siya og power in a sense nga mga dinagko nga decisions siya ang mo decide. But it doesn't mean, for example, in my case, no, ako ug akong boyfriend. So I am the managing partner and he is just an marabag ordinary partner lang siya. So ako yung managing partner. So ang mga big decisions, I can do it on my, I can decide it on my own. But it doesn't mean that the other partner has no right anymore to intervene. He can still intervene. Okay, so for example, in our case, my boyfriend is also taking an active part in our partnership. And then, of course, the public knows that he is a partner. He is an ostensible partner. So actually, even though you already appointed a managing partner, all other partners that are not considered as managing partners, they can still take an active part in the business. So they could be considered as an ostensible partner in that sense. But the managing partner is one who really para ba og todo jud nga nag manage sa business. Okay, mura ba og siya jud ang head sa tanan nga partners. But all other partners who take an active part in the business are considered as ostensible partner. Then, silent partner who does not take active part in the business but may be known to be a partner by third persons. So, for example, igo ra siya ni hatag og kwarta and then wala na siya nang hilabot. Igo ra siya ni hatag og kwarta and then other persons know that this person is a partner. So, he is a silent partner. Dormant partner, one who does not take an active part in the business and is also not known or held out as a partner. Saktan naman no. So dormant as in mura ra jud siya og patay nga partner. Wala siya nag-apil-apil. Wasad kahibaw ang public nga partner siya dai siya. Mura siya natog dormant nga partner. Original partner, one who has been a partner since the constitution of the partnership. Like for example, if your partnership has already, let's say, been dissolved in the past and then renewed, then continue hapon siya. So if he is a partner from the very beginning, then he is considered as an original partner. Incoming partner, one who is about to be taken as a member into an existing partnership. So namo i-add nga bago nga partner. So that partner is an incoming partner. Then retiring partner, one who is withdrawing from the partnership. So dili ra ta matrick ani nga mga parts. Okay. So here we have a distinction between industrial partner and capitalist partner. So as to the form of contribution, an industrial partner contributes industry while a capitalist partner contributes money or property. As to share in the profits, kay di ba ang iyang manggong iyang contribution is industry man, di ba? So we can really put a value on it. Na, oy, ang imong industry kay 20%, 50%, murag vague ra kayo siya ba, di ba? Kay industry ra good. So ang iyang share is whatever is just and equitable. So whatever is commensurate to the industry that he is contributing. And capitalist partner normally will be according to agreement. So, pasabot di it doesn't mean nga if ikaw ang pinakadakungan i-contribute, ikaw sa na ay pinakadako ma-share. Okay? So, you have the freedom to stipulate sa inyong agreement nga bahalag, for example, bahalag gamay ni iyahang na-contribute, but siya magud ang masikat, siya magud ang mas nailhan. So, let's say, mas dako ra gyapon siya o share. Can you do that? Answer is yes, because unsa man kay inyong nasabutan mo gyud ang i-follow. But if wala mo nasabutan nga share, murag porsyento ba nga 50% goes to this partner, 30% goes to this partner. If you have no express agreement with regard to the distribution, then ang gamiton sa law nga basis is your contribution. But again, as a general rule, dili basihan ang contribution, but rather you can actually decide among yourselves no kung pila gyud imong ihatag nga porsyento sa kani nga partner. Dili pasabot nga kung gamay ra iyahang i-contribute, gamay ra sa iyang share. Okay, pwede ra dako gahapon iyang share, pahalaga may iyang na-contribute. The contribution, the actual contribution will only be relevant if you have no express agreement as to pila ka porsyento. So, the actual contribution will be used as a basis. Okay? Oh, we have questions here. Attorney, a managing partner can also be regarded or identified as ostensible partner or different kina sila. Yes, pwede. A managing partner is also considered as an ostensible partner. Yes, you can do that. Next question. Attorney, since a married man and a woman cannot enter into a universal partnership, if nag-form silang partnership while they were just boyfriend or girlfriend, can the partnership be terminated then if married na sila? Not necessarily because, diba, as you mentioned, they are prohibited from entering into a universal partnership. So they get married someday, they can still continue their partnership as long as particular partnership ang ilang i-enter into. Okay? Particular partnership lang. And then, okay, share in losses. The industrial partner is exempted as to losses as between partners, but is liable to third persons without prejudice from to ask for reimbursement from capital's partners. Actually, when I was still in college, maglibog ko ani nga part, no? Exempted sa losses, liable to third person. So, unsay pasabot ana niya. So, as a rule, kaning si industrial partner, kaya di ba ang iyang gihatag is ihamang efforts, no? Iyang efforts. So, if naay losses, wala na siya'y labot. Dapat di mo siya pabayron sa losses. Di siya mo shoulder sa losses. Kaya nga naman, gi-assume man gud sa law nga ang iha palang effort daan, no, paghatag pa lang sa effort, loss na pud to sa iyang part. Nihatag siya og efforts, unya, loss ang part na naka-incur og losses ang partnership. That means ang iyang share sa losses is katong efforts niya nga nasayang. Di ba? So, di na nimo siya pabayron as between yourselves. But as to third persons, so for someone outside the partnership, the industrial partner is still liable. So pwede gyapon siya paninglan sa losses. So as to kaya nga no, ingon gud sila, the third persons must be protected. So if, for example, if you have two partners, one is a capitalist and one is an industrial, it will be unfair to third persons nga ang usara ka partner ang ihang magukod, 'di ba? Nga ang usara ka partner kay usara gud ka capitalist partner, siya ra di ako pwede magukod. No. So as to the third persons di ay pwede sa niya gukdon si industrial partner. Nya mo yung industrial partner, oy, excuse me, under the law, I am exempted, di ba? I am exempted as to losses, so di ko nimo pwede gukdon. Ang answer na, kay pwede ra gihapon ka gukdon sa third person. So gigukod ka sa third person, habulin mo ko. O niya, nadakpan jud ka, so kailangan ka mabayad. So di bayad ka sa third person. O niya, sad na din ka, no? Sad face na din ka, industrial part. Uy, ingon sila nga, exempted ko sa losses. Nga nung gipabayad mo ko sa third persons. So what is your recourse then? So since under the law, you're actually exempted. It's just that for the protection of third persons, you are liable, right? So what you do is you ask reimbursement from the capitalist partner. So, uy, under the law ba ya ha? Exempted pa ako sa losses. But it's just that nibayad lang jud ko dito sa third persons kay okay, para fair po sa iyang part, no? Under the law, naman siya right to collect from me. But again, I am exempted. In the end, I am exempted. So whatever I paid to the third persons, I can get it from you, oy capitalist partner. Reimburse ko sa ako ang gihatag ni third persons. So once ma-reimburse na ka, no, ma-feel na nimo ang giingon sa law nga, I am really exempted from losses. Because ang imong gihatag sa third persons, nakuha man nimo as reimbursement from from the capitalist partners, then you are now free. Mura mag-offset. Nakahatag ka, let's say, 100,000 dito sa third persons as your share sa losses. And then, na-reimburse man ka sa other partners. So, wala na. In essence, wala jud exempted jud ka sa losses. Okay? Permi ko masayop ani sa una kay magnahunam ko nga exempted lagi siya. So si third persons dili pwede makakollect niya kay exempt gud siya. Sayop daig ko, sayop lagi ko. Kay makakollect ra gihapon si third persons from the partner. Kay luoy man pud si third persons no maimo inan, excuse me, industrial partner ko, no, in the eyes of the third person, regardless whether you are a capitalist partner or an industrial partner, you are still a partner. So you are liable to third persons. It's just that whatever you pay to those third persons as your share, no, you can ask it to be reimbursed by your capitalist partners. Clear? Okay. We have some questions here. Okay, okay, we have a question here. Attorney, how to differentiate a continuing and surviving partner, attorney? Nga pwede man sila makasipay na partner after dissolution by death or any partner. Actually, you can be both a continuing partner and a surviving partner. So, dili na sila mutually exclusive as long as you satisfy the definition of those partner, no, as continuing partner ka, surviving partner. So, lain sa gay, no, ang actually, ang surviving partner, limited ra iya ang definition. Surviving partner, if na namatay, you survive, you are surviving partner. Ang continuing partner, ni continue ka despite the solution. And then your dissolution could be caused by different things. Could be the dissolution is because of the death of the partner. Then you become a continuing partner and a surviving partner at the same time. But if the dissolution is because, wala lang, naalay muhawa nga partner, di na siya ganahan makipag-partner. So na-dissolve in yung current partnership and then you continued without the other withdrawing partner, then you are a continuing partner, but you are not a surviving partner in that aspect. Okay? And the next, attorney, in what way can a partner be a limited and general partner at the same time? You cannot be both. Okay? You are either a limited partner or a general partner. Just choose. Okay? Choose whether you want to be a limited partner or a general partner. You cannot be both as long as you have in your partnership, you have at least one general partner. Dili, for example, if tulo mo kabog partners, dili pwede ang tulo limited. Dapat usa ninyo, at least usa ninyo kay general partner. Okay, but you cannot be both limited and general at the same time. Attorney, are the partners liable solidarily to third persons? It actually depends on the reason. We will discuss later, but for purposes of here, okay, let's continue here sa capitalist partner. The share of losses is according to the agreement. So whatever you have agreed here, like share in your profits, that is the same share as to your losses if you have agreement. But if none, the same proportion as agreed in the profits. If none, in proportion to the contribution. So pasabot ani, di ba, kabantay mo dali share in profits duha lang, but for share in profits tulo ang rules. So it means that for share in losses, doesn't mean nga if 50% imo share sa profits, 50% sa imo share sa losses. You can have a separate agreement with regard to the losses. For example, if profits, I want 50%, but if losses, I just want 20. Is that okay? If your other parties will agree, then that's okay. Dili necessarily parehas ang imo share sa profits o ang imo share sa losses. So according to your agreement, gihapon. But if you have no agreement as to share in losses, then that would be the same as your share in your profits. If you have no specific agreement as to share in your profits, then last na to ang according to the proportion of your contribution. And then, okay, right to engage in business. Ang pasabot ani is another business aside sa inyong partnership. Okay, if you are an industrial partner, you cannot engage in business for yourself. Ay magganahan ka magtukod og lain nga business. You can do it if you are an industrial partner, unless the part as a general rule has so exception to the rule is when the partnership expressly permits him to do so. Okay. So as a rule, if you are an industrial partner, you cannot create another business. Bahalag dili pa na siya direct competitors in inyong current partnership. So for example, inyong current partnership is, let's say, an accounting firm. And then, ganahan ka mag-create of another business, let's say, rental business. Diba? Dili sila direct competitors. If you are an industrial partner, you are prohibited from engaging in another business. And why is that? Because since you are an industrial partner, unsa ganito imong gi-contribute? Ang imong gi-contribute is imong industry, imong effort, imong time. So that means that the partnership has a right to demand from you full-time jud mo siya, no? Full-time jud mo siya. Di ka pwede mag-spend sa imong other time sa lain nga nimo nga business. Okay, so as a general rule, di ka pwede. Except if the partnership expressly permits him to do so. So, if mananghid ka daan sa imong other partners nga, partner, ganahan sa unta ko ba nga mag-create og lain nga business. Sige lang ko, dili bitaw ni siya direct competition sa ato ang current nga partnership. Pwede ra. So, if the partners will agree, then you can do it. Okay? But if you do it without permission, mao ni mo repercussion, no? The capitalist partners may exclude him from the firm. So tangtango na kanila once they discover that you have engaged in another business without prior permission, pwede kanila tangtangon, or avail themselves of the benefits obtained in violation of the prohibition with regard to damages in either case. So this means that wa ka na nang hid, nang engage ka into another business, wa ka na nang hid ha. So, either i-exclude ka nila from the firm or tanan nimong profits nga na-derive sa other ni mga business kuhaon, i-forfeit i-forfeit kanang sa imuhang capitalist partners. Padung gihapon sa imong capitalist partners, kuhaon nila with a right to damages in either case. So, if your capitalist partners will decide to exclude you from the firm, they have the right to ask for damages as well. So, exclude ka nila plus damages. Second, if di ka nila ganahan exclude, okay lang, pero amo ang i-confiscate ang imuhang profits dito sa imong pikas nga business. They can also do that plus damages. Good evening, attorney. Most voted to continue the discussion another day. Is it okay to have the second part pre-recorded? Okay. Not okay. So, pre-recorded inyong ganahan after ani. Sige, pwede ra sad pre-recorded. But, di ko ka-promise nga maka-record ko this week. Okay? Tomorrow, holiday ko, 8 a.m. to 6. Pikpa Summit. Dili sila ganahan pre-recorded. Anyway, ang inyong koan is on August 1 pa man, di ba? So, we have, wala free na mo next week. No, I'm also free. I have more free time next week. 21 and 22, holiday from 8 a.m. to 6, I have Pikpa Summit. And then on the 23, I have meeting with Attorney Wendell. And in the morning and in the afternoon, I have also an event sa Pikpa gihapon sa past presidents tribute. And then on the 24th, actually, I also have a schedule with you no, sa part 1 sa special laws on 23 and 24. 23 afternoon and then 24 morning, 24 afternoon, malarga na ko balik sa Tacloban. So, medyo puno gid siya. So, pwede na next week if ganahan mo. Let me know how your preference. Okay. So, for now, kay since gigutom na siguro mo, kumano lang ni nato ang kani. Okay, engagement and business. Okay. Okay, sige. So, clear na ni siya ha for industrial partner. So, dapat mananghid ka. Otherwise, sayang imong effort sa other business because i-confiscate ra sa imuhang capitalist partners and then plus damages pa jud. Plus damages. Okay. For the capitalist partner, dili kay siya mas restrictive as compared to industrial. Kaya di ba there is industrial, you cannot engage in any business whether in direct competition or not. But therefore, capitalist partner, you cannot engage for your own account in the same kind of business as that of the partnership. So, ang restriction lang nimo is if in direct competition sa inyong current nga business. But if lahi kaayo, then you can do so even without the permission of the partnership. Okay, but if ganahan ka nga indirect competition, weird sad ka no, weird sad ka nga pagkatao ba nga naa na kay business karon with the existing partners, and then you also want to engage in another business, the same kind of business. Paggalibog kung sa may gusto nimo day. So okay ra sad na siya, but kailangan na kay permission. Should you do so, he shall bring to the common fund any profits accruing to him from his transactions and shall personally bear all the losses. So, murag same aning number 2, but actually ang repercussions is dili pud kayo in ana kagrabe kay diri man god sa industrial partner. He may be excluded, di ba? Plus damages pa jud. But there is no option to exclude. But rather, iya lang ipa-confiscate lang nato ang profits nga na-earn niya sa other business, okay? And then if there are any losses, he shall bear all the losses personally, but all profits tanan mapunta sa partnership. Okay? Okay, so we are now still on page 6, no? But I hope you learned something or na-enrich na ko ang inyong understanding of the laws on partnership. I think tublang sa takaron 7:30 so you can eat your dinner, and let me know your final decision whether you want it pre-recorded or live discussion. But regardless of your choice, I could do it next week pa. So next, whether pre-recorded or live next week pa dyan ako siya magbuhat. Okay. Will you provide us with a quiz or practice set about this topic? I may be able to provide you with a copy of MCQs, but I cannot anymore encode them one by one sa Canvas. Kay medyo hassle mo gud ang sa Canvas no kay encode ni mo per question and then ipilion pa nako unsa ang sakto nga answer, murag hassle siya. Di siya copy paste sa tanan ba. So I may be able to provide you with MCQs lang na document. But I can give you that. Okay? Okay, sige. Okay, MCQ na. Pili lang sa okay. Live, please. Live. Okay, okay nyo live. Pwede raman sad yun, no? Hinahinayon lang nato sa sakto raman sad kay ano ang partnership law magod is very very rich with with concepts. So mura pog mabuto pud atong utok mo ato siyang straight mahurot at ang brain cells. Anyway, so we still have next week man sad pero hinahinay lang. We'll just enjoy the discussion. But we will push through with our special laws na discussion this Saturday and Sunday. Okay? Sige. So, any more questions regarding the topics that we have discussed so far before we leave? Hearing none, I think okay siguro clear na sa atong minds, no? Sige, sige. So, I'll stop the recording na and then mag-convert pa man ni siya and also di pa na ko siya diha dayon mahatag ang recorded ani. Anyway, thank you. So, thank you once again for uh, tonight. Attorney, is there a possibility for the backtracking during the exam? Actually, wala pa na ako na-convince is si Sir Ray. Si Sir Ray Amaya. Hala, na-record pa, Jude. Giaha ko, magpag-stop na akong stop naman to na